Ethanol, the alcohol in alcoholic beverages, is a compound of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. A 3.70 gram sample of ethanol contains 1.93 grams of carbon and 0.49 grams of hydrogen. Calculate the mass percentages of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in ethanol. We'll come back to the problem in a moment. For now, let's review. To calculate mass percent, think of it like finding the percentage of a certain type of bead in a necklace. Imagine you have a necklace with 50 beads, and 18 of them are red. To find the percentage of red beads, you would divide the number of red beads by the total number of beads and then multiply by 100. Mass percent works the same way, but instead of the number of beads, we're using grams, mass. Let's start by drawing a picture to help us out. This blob is our sample of ethanol. What is the total mass of this blob? That's right. According to the problem, the total mass of our sample is 3.70 grams. Let's cross out the information in the problem that we've already used. But the problem is asking us specifically about what? Select all that apply. That's right, we want to learn more about the part of our blob that is ethanol. The challenge is that the problem doesn't tell us how much of the sample is oxygen, but it does tell us it is composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Let's add that information to our picture. This part of the blob is carbon. This part is oxygen. And this part is hydrogen. Okay, in truth, those atoms are mixed up throughout the sample, but this sketch works fine for our purposes. As if we squished all of the carbon to one side and all of the oxygen to the other. The problem tells us that the carbon part of our blob is 1.93 grams. What about the mass of hydrogen? The problem told us that the mass of carbon is 1.93 grams, not hydrogen. So let's cross that out since we already used it. Notice that as we read on, the problem gives us the mass of the hydrogen and it's 0.49 grams. We can label our picture again and cross out that information too. Now, let's look carefully at our picture. What is the mass of oxygen in our sample? Yes, from our picture, we see that the total mass is 3.70 grams. And if we subtract the mass of the other two parts, the carbon, which is 1.93 grams, and the hydrogen, which is 0.49 grams, that gives us the mass of the third component, oxygen, which is 1.28 grams. What is the percent of oxygen by mass in our ethanol sample? Think back to the beads at the beginning of the video. To get the percent mass of oxygen in the sample, we divide the mass of the part, 1.28 grams, by the mass of the whole, 3.70 grams. So overall, we get 35%. Solving word problems are always tricky, so here is the main takeaway. When presented with lots of numbers, drawing a picture that represents all of the values makes our lives a lot easier.